Hi, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our FM influencer is Sarah Koszyk. She is one of our FM experts. She is a registered dietitian, sports nutritionist, and currently a master's swimmer as well. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you with us. You've got an amazing resume. I saw just the incredible things that you're doing, and we want to introduce you to our audience and give them a chance to get to know you a little bit, and possibly they're going to be wanting to work with you and understand how to fuel their bodies for higher performance. And that's exactly what Sarah does. So, Sarah, what got you into swimming to start with?
I was first introduced to the water at 2 months old. I was born in Puerto Rico, and my mom just basically threw me in the water and did that thing you do with little tiny babies where you put them really close to the water, you go, and you blow in their face and you dunk them under.
Right.
And ever since then, at 2 months, I never wanted to get out.
Wow. So just part of your life right away. So tell us a little bit about where your swimming journey led you.
Yeah, so my swimming journey basically led me to meet other swim professionals and actually build a career within the swimming industry. Not only am I a registered dietitian who coaches swimmers to optimize their fueling and performance, but I'm also the resident dietitian for the monthly Counsilman Swimmer magazine, a USMS publication. And so because of my passion for swimming, I've actually been able to establish a career where I help others in the industry while also enjoying the sport myself. So it's been pretty exciting.
So how did your experience in swimming impact your future career now?
I knew that I always wanted to do something active and within helping others too. Just because I think with swimming, you're working with so many coaches and people are helping you and guiding you. And it's almost like giving away back, like giving back by, me personally doing it for others also. And, different, when it comes to actually coaching, like performance, that didn't necessarily call my name, but the food factor called my name. And I think when I was younger, it was so incredible how you can make the association where food can impact our performance in so many ways. For all the younger community members out there, now is the time that you can establish strong nutrition habits. I work with a lot of Olympians too, and they started doing their nutrition and their nutrition trends when they were younger. And so, if you need guidance or assistance, reach out to me or a sports dietitian so that they could provide you with a customized fueling plan that includes foods that you actually like to eat and enjoy. You don't just have to eat dirt or kale. Not that there's anything wrong with kale. So it's really important to set up a strong knowledge of nutrition and health now so that you can enhance your personal swim career and future.
I got a question a little bit from what you just said there is when you say fuels and nutrition, things like this, and you're also more holistic even than just nutrition, right? But when you say that can impact, because we see the different cornerstones of swimming, basically you have your fuel, sleep, hydration, nutrition, and oxygen, and then you have your energy systems that convert those fuels into energy for the muscle, right? And that's you have your endurance system, your speed system, and your explosive system. And then you go over and that energy gets delivered to the muscle to contract. And then that contracts around the bones, which that'd be your skeletal system moving. That would be your technique. And then the skeletal system gets you to where you want to go. And the whole question is, do you know where you want to go and how to get there, right? So you have these cornerstones, and you have what's called synergy, where you put it all together, right? Because if you're really good at technique, you may not be a great swimmer, right? Or if you're just great at the way to think about it, right? So how do you see fuels impacting the swimmers? I mean, like sleep and hydration, nutrition, and oxygen, how does that impact them, in your opinion?
Yes. I mean, like you said, it's a synergistic system. So it's not just oxygen, or it's not just, technique, or it's not just nutrition, or not just sleep, et cetera, hydration. It all comes together, like holistically and synergistically. And so when people don't eat, for example, they can lose momentum extremely fast. If people eat the wrong foods, they can falter in their performance just by feeling bloated or gassy or have an upset stomach. If people don't recover right, they can be extra sore and possibly increase the risk of injuries. And then if people aren't hydrated, well, they can experience fatigue, slower response times, and they can even run the risk of cramping both inside and outside of the pool. So basically, yeah, fuel is important for all those reasons. And then kind of like you mentioned, sleep too. I mean, if people don't sleep enough, then fatigue and slower swim. So I think when people know what to do, instead of having those negative effects of the swimmer's performance, if they're not doing it right, they can actually enhance their performance and optimize it.
So basically, from what I'm understanding, going from the fuels over to the energy systems, right? And that delivery, and whether you have enough energy to actually do what you need to do is directly impacted by the fuel that you consume. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially, I see a lot of swimmers, and if they're eating the wrong foods for them, then when they're in the pool, they just feel gassy or bloated or like they don't feel good, and it actually slows them down and inhibits their performance.
So it's not just a social event of eating and enjoying yourself and having the wings and whatever, but it's also something where you're fueling your body. And as an athlete, if you don't fuel your body well, and this is why we turn to minds like Sarah and they're able to help in an expert fashion understand, number one, yes, there is a social aspect to eating and that type of thing. And you don't want to lose that. At the same time, you want to think that you are fueling the vehicle that you're going to travel in. And if this vehicle isn't fueled properly, then you're going to have, right? It's like putting the wrong gas in the car.
Yes, it's like getting diesel, and you shouldn't have done diesel for your car in particular.
We use a lot of this terminology of the story of the three little pigs and the big bad wolf and things like this. And I think there was a house of straw, house of sticks, and house of bricks. So from a standpoint of your eating, your consumption of fluids, what you choose to do and how much, right? What's the volume, et cetera, and what we call portions. These are really important to make a brick house, because if this one is built of straw,
right,
all the other ones are going to suffer.
Exactly.
Correct. And so therefore your synergy, you have this weak leg of the star, so to speak, and all of a sudden, right? So that's why we turn to people like Sarah versus, turning to Aunt Jen who wants to eat more meatballs, right?
Right.
Try to really understand what you need, not just to put meat on your bones, to actually fuel this body. And again, this is very important because these guys are in basically like race cars. They're not sports cars. Right. These guys are really, the swimmers are going here. They're really, and because Sarah has expertise and experience as a swimmer herself, and then has this expertise in being a dietitian, a sports nutritionist, it makes all the difference to fuel yourself properly. And that's why she doesn't just go with just nutrition, because there's 4 aspects here, and she covers more than that. Wow.
Yes, and I love what you said too about not just listening to to grandma or auntie, because I've had some clients where their fellow colleagues, like their fellow teammates, were like, oh, here, try this goo or this gel or whatever it is, or here's a sports drink, and the people have taken it, and it might have worked for their teammate, but it didn't work for their personal gut, and it just wrecked their performance. And so I definitely like to work with my clients, because it is important to stay fueled, but it's finding the right fuels that work with you, and especially like never trying anything new on a day of a meet or a race.
I got to tell you, Sarah, I had an experience a little while ago, and I don't want to go too far into this, but I took a supplement that was recommended to me by a friend.
Yeah.
And that friend had a friend, he was taking it, he had the same issue, and oh, this is going to work great. So I took it. 3 years of liver problems that almost killed me.
Oh my gosh.
By taking this only 4 months, and I realized all of a sudden I was exhausted. I couldn't get up to play with my kids, nothing. And I'm going from a world-class athlete in the past to now barely being able to stand up while my kids are playing and just to watch them. And thank goodness after 3 years, I was able to get out of that. And because, so if you take things just kind of recommended here and there over the internet, hey, this is great. This is very, very different. You can have tremendous impact, which negative for me, or you can have a great positive impact if you're eating the right foods and you have somebody that's actually working with you to get you the right materials to work with.
Right. Like, for example, like Dr. Google is great, but Dr. Google doesn't always look at all the components for you particularly. You know, like what is your background, your history, your lab work, your your genetics, all that stuff, your gut microbiome. And that's where I think registered dietitians can help on another level, because they're looking at the whole picture. So they're saying, okay, well, yes, this supplement or this sports gel or goo or whatever it is, or this might work for you because based off of your background. So I think that it's that customization. The big thing is the customization that really works nowadays with people, because we're realizing that there just isn't one size fits all. And there's a lot of amazing products out there, but it's just not a one size fits all. So, what one person takes doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for another person.
I gotta just say the words Dr. Google, I think that's amazing. That's a great point, because don't we use Google to answer every possible question, and a lot of them are wrong. There's a lot of people just writing things out there and blogs that don't know anything about it. And this is somebody who's trained, scientifically trained to help your body, right? And with Sarah, she has a seat on our international consortium of experts. So we're not talking about somebody that's kind of playing around here. This is somebody who really knows the science behind your body and what to do for it, right? And you can have food that works against you. You can have food that does nothing for you, or you can have food that works for you. And that's what Sarah's going to do for you. And you also work with vegans, vegetarians, right? Almost the whole spectrum. Is that right?
Yes. In fact, surprisingly enough, I have a lot of vegan and vegetarian clients. It's just become it's gained a lot more popularity and momentum in comparison to when I started 14 years ago. And yes, so I work with all different food preferences. I have clients that are gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free. I do clients that are interested in intermittent fasting. So yeah, I work with people just to customize and optimize their performance, regardless of what their food preferences are.
Just a quick window into it, because I get this question all the time from folks that are either vegetarian or vegan. Is there a way to get them the protein they need to develop their muscle without eating meat?
Yes, there is. You can be vegetarian and vegan and still be an amazing, incredible athlete, still get the right amount of proteins that you need, and the complete proteins too. It does take a lot more planning and prepping, but it is doable. Yes.
So in other words, you need to know more if you're on a special diet, right? And specific things that you can eat or you need to know more. You need to be more educated. And that's where you can rely on someone like Sarah. So tell us about why you've remained in the swimming community over an entire lifetime. Why have you stayed connected? I mean, you can do what you do anywhere, right? And with any group. Why have you remained in the swimming environment in the community?
Well, I think the word that you just said is community. That means everything. It's just nice wherever you go, you can always find a swim club. You can always connect with people. And I think just being a part of the swimming community, it just builds community, and it's nice to be active in it. And I think it's just because it's been such a big part of me. Even wherever I live, I'll still always find people that enjoy swimming. You can always find, and then you can always find a pool anywhere. So.
And a lot of them are good people. I mean, we've got a great community, incredible people heading in, their own direction, but at the same time, they're all kind of heading in a direction that you feel is, a good place to go. In your experience, how does the fuels, oxygen, hydration, nutrition, sleep, how do those components impact swimmers? I know we talked about this a little bit, but how important on a scale of 0 to 10 do you feel like this is?
I would have to say that it is a 10 in importance factor, because you literally, like when you train for anything, you also have to be physically capable of doing things. And so by having the stamina through the fueling, that's important. By sleeping enough so that you can recover, you're clear-headed, you're focused, that's important too. Hydration is huge. And I mean, without the proper hydration, our bodies literally can just shut down. So I would definitely say it's a 10. Now, if you have a bad day, or let's say like you didn't have the best of meals or whatnot, it's not going to make or break you on that one time. Just know that maybe that one practice won't be as ideal, or sometimes if you didn't sleep well the night before because you're maybe really excited, you might be like just a little more groggy or whatnot. But if you think about it as a whole, minus those couple little offsets, you can still make it work. And if we're doing stuff most of the time, like 80% of the time pretty well, then our performance will be pretty optimal.
Right. And if you're doing things 80% wrong,
right?
That's really not working for you or working against you, and you only have that 20% that's going, you're really going to have an impact on right, because systematically you're doing the wrong thing. Now, looking at this, so we actually describe it, and when we look at fuels, is they're the consumables, right? And they go over to the energy systems and through those energy systems. So the way we look at it, we always put it in the same order, which is oxygen, hydration, nutrition, and sleep. The reason why is kind of funny. Oxygen to us, we say how quickly, if you were deprived of it, how quickly would it kill you?
Yes.
And so
I love that. I love that breakdown.
Right. Oxygen would be minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And then hydration, that would be days.
Right.
Nutrition would be weeks.
Right.
And sleep would be months, but every one of them can kill you if you don't, right? And it's telling you as it degrades,
yes,
it has a major impact on your body and its capabilities. So it's kind of an interesting thing to look at. Like, these are the things that make or break your life. And these are, right. And my folks always said there's two things you don't want to go cheap on. Number one is your food, right? Because you are what you eat, basically. And that is a truth. And number two is your doctors. You don't want to, get a discount on your brain surgery. It's probably not a good thing.
Right.
So these are really important factors. So what are some of the most important questions you get asked regarding fueling and swimming?
A lot of people always come to me, what should I eat before meet? What do I do when I'm traveling? What are the best foods for recovery? How do I build muscle? I still get a lot of questions like, are carbs okay? What supplements should I take? And a lot of parents ask about sports drinks and things like that, because they're always not sure, like, what is okay? So I get a lot of questions about parents regarding sugars and things like that.
So what's a one or two like takeaway tips for people regarding nutrition and swimming that you have?
I recommend that number one is stay fueled every day. It's not just about eating right before meet. It's about eating a healthy, well-balanced diet every day and getting in your regular meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, having your snacks, staying hydrated. Like, every day is a good day to stay fueled and nourished.
And you work with individuals, is that right, as well? Do you also work with groups or mainly individuals?
I do work with groups, yes.
Okay, got it. And so people can work one-on-one with you. You design a program for them, and I'm guessing, right, meal plan, the whole works. Is that right?
Yes. So I customize fueling programs for individuals, and what I do is I look at their current routine, pattern, lifestyle, and then we talk about breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, pre, during, and post fueling. During might be dependable, of course, on their what's going on. And and I make sure that it works with their lifestyle, their habits and patterns. And then my goal is to really modify and tweak their patterns and habits so that this plan is a sustainable lifestyle plan versus not just a diet or a one-off.
And so if somebody wants to work with you, let's say they're an individual or team, right, they can go right up, and I'm going to show them this. They can go right up on our website at fluidmechanics.net. And you can find Sarah right here. She's in our fast track under experts. and she's got a great page, and you can sign up and you can actually get a one-on-one initial consultation, right? So you can kind of get to know her, see if it's a good fit, and that's a great thing. So all you do is you go up here and you go to, from our homepage, fluidmechanics.net, you go to the FM Fast Track. And if you don't have the Fast Track yet, just click the demo. And again, you can find her right here in Experts. You just scroll down and there's her picture, view the offer, and in you go. And you can sign up right there to get started with her. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, John. It's always a pleasure seeing you too.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Thanks.